Good afternoon. Thanks to everyone in attendance for the November 10th, 2025 Urban Forestry Board. We'll do roll call.
Chair Burke.
Here.
Vice Chair Kohler.
Here.
Board Member Tinsley.
Here.
Board Member Phelps.
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Good enough. Thank you. Approval of the agenda. With an amendment on the 7th.
Through it and didn't have any revisions or.
Okay.
I move to approve the agenda. I second that motion.
I vote in the affirmative.
Moving on to approval of the October 13th minutes. I did not see any changes.
I did not see anything.
I motion to approve the minutes from the October 13th, 2025 Urban Forestry Board meeting. I second.
Approval noted. We don't have any visitor communication.
Chair, roll call, or sorry, all in favor?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to visitor communication. We don't have anybody here. Board business, the 69013 Camp Polk Road, the Juniper removal revisit. As we discussed last month, I still personally think that we should knock them down. Just to the north of it, they have all the big trees that are out in front of the Conklin house. And then just to the south of it, they got a couple of trees that are walking along Locust. That for the little bit of shade that those two trees provide and the complications of the walkway, I'm personally in favor of cutting the junipers down.
You know, one thing I noticed in the next parcel to the north is the path is a serpent. You know, is there a possibility of doing that around those junipers?
It doesn't look like there's enough space given the property line and the right of way, because the path is already going as right up against that property line, and it still impacts those two trees. I think that all those alternatives were evaluated. Is that,
Okay, just
am I reading that correctly?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Just that Robert was mentioning that just north the pedestrian path kind of snakes around, and
it's where you go over the airport, you know, where the planes land. It's a serpent there, and so a lot of them are straight, and then here's this serpent. I was just curious.
We try to meander the paths just for both visual appeal and also the appeal of the user. We do have this one meandering a little bit as possible. We can, as you can see in Exhibit A and B provided by our survey engineer, shows the two options for meandering the path on either side of the tree. In both cases, the smallest of the two junipers is in conflict. Exhibit A shows if the path were to be on the west side of the larger juniper, the resulting path would be under 7 feet.
Okay, it's supposed to be 8, right?
That is the minimum for a multi-use path.
Okay.
If the path were to be on the east side, it would be flush with pavement, road pavement, and be just under 8 feet. But that would also put it, when looking here correctly, right up against the base of the tree as well.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed to hear.
I went and visited this site last month after our meeting and kind of felt a bit of a change of heart, and just I understand the principle of trying to conserve as many trees as possible, but given the condition of these junipers and the size and age, I was less compelled to work a project around them in lieu of just removing them and keeping the project, keeping the path at 8 feet and safely away from the road.
Well, with all due respect to my colleagues,
Yeah.
I've been wandering the paths of Sisters and really noted, as Robert pointed out, there's a new path that goes from Pine and Barkley up to the roundabout, past the Ponderosa Lodge. And it's lovely the way they laid it out, meandering. It's just welcoming. You want to go on that side versus the other side, which is, in comparison, much more straight. And I've also walked by this tree multiple times since we last met, both trees. And it's a pretty tall tree for the fact that there's a lot of barren area around there. So I would like to do anything we could to save it. You drive down there and there's not many big trees, and there will be fewer as things get developed on that drive to that intersection and beyond. So I'm going to be outvoted, but I would still like to do anything I could to, if you can't save both of them, to save the big one. So I just needed to put that on the record. And I know we're not voting about meandering, but a separate issue.
If
I
that's
really
an
like the
option,
idea of
yeah.
as much meandering as possible out there.
And it sounds like the property owner has made contact with CEC on some of the electrical equipment that's in the right-of-way there, relocating that, so we're going to have opportunity for a little bit more meandering to the area north of these trees. You can kind of see some of the boxes cut off at the northern edge of the diagram.
Yeah.
Rob, do you have any?
And I'll also just point out, not necessarily to make a case for this tree, but it's really interesting to walk all the way from this area all the way down to City Hall, because the path is just, illogical. Sometimes it's it's closer to the road, and sometimes it's sometimes there's trees close to the road. So I think it was done probably in various chunks, and whatever needed to be done for that stretch of road they did without like a master plan for the whole thing. That's really not our
You're talking about the
concern,
path
but
between here and this location. I think it was done in at least 2 stages.
Do you have any input?
Just thinking. There are no power lines on that side of the street, are there?
It's on the east side of the road.
They're on the other, yeah, they're on the east side, yeah, where the light is on the corner there, Black Butte there. Yeah, those are distinct trees along there, and there's not a lot. Who knows what's gonna happen in the future when somebody does develop that property. I see more trucks there, I don't know, all white pickups, and I don't know who they are and what they're doing there. If they are planning to develop that. Otherwise, they're just kind of letting it go to rack and ruin. That's the sad thing. The fence has been broken, trees have fallen on it, and that has to come out, I would think. And 6.67 feet by the big tree, huh? According to this diagram.
existing.
Yeah. Well, if you take them out and they develop there, they could put in, different types of trees along there within their property line, or if we have city code, or city, what do you call them? I don't know what they, about putting in trees and developing the urban forest as they develop that property.
Yeah, I think street tree planting is something that would be addressed when they do decide to develop that property. When we don't know.
Yeah, and if it'll be developed one of these days, when somebody comes up with the money, I would think. And I'm trying to think. One of the owners of the distillery there, the barn, is from that family, right? I'm trying to remember. They're from Camp Sherman out that way, and
The distillery?
huh?
Or the Conklin Guest House? Where this is
Conklin, yeah, but
the distillery is different than the Conklin Guest House.
I thought that there was a brother and sister that.
Yeah, the Mortons. They're at the barn, not related to Conklin.
Okay. Learn something every day.
So do you have any other input on the removal or the keeping of the trees?
I would remove them, I think. And give us a clean start here in the future, and make sure that whoever develops that puts in, recommended types of trees, or maples, or fir or pine, whatever it is.
Yeah, when folks go to develop and they're required to plant street trees, our community development department does direct them to our recommended street tree list. And that's broken down by size of the tree, and it also calls out trees that are water resistant, drought tolerant. So there's some options for that developer when that time comes.
Avery, do you have an opinion?
The information, so I'll just stick with the information I gave, I think it's a great idea to try to preserve trees, but I think
You want to call for a vote? Somebody make a motion.
So either of you would like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the removal of the 2 juniper trees on 69013 Camp Polk Road in order to make the pedestrian path maintain the 8-foot width consistently throughout the stretch of the path.
I second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
Put some cottonwoods in there. This other.
Moving on to board business B, Locust Street, Butte Avenue, Juniper removal.
So, a project that we're working on is the North Locust pedestrian improvement project, funded through a small city allotment grant through the Oregon Department of Transportation. We're working through the design process right now, and these 3 trees were identified as being in conflict of the proposed pathway. The 3 trees are 1 7-inch, 1 9-inch, and 1 11-inch DBH juniper. On the diagram provided to us by our city engineer, you can see how the path would be going right through the 2 southernmost junipers. The third juniper to the north is in conflict where we need to relocate a fire hydrant.
I was gonna ask, you're gonna relocate that fire hydrant?
Yeah, you can see it's kind of clouded out, a little bit gray outline of a hydrant, kind of half on the path, half off the path. It's the current location of the hydrant. We tried working it around the hydrant and still saving that north tree, but it wasn't mapping out. This also gives us the opportunity to move that fire hydrant into a bit of a safer location, just for any off-tracking vehicles.
It's right on the corner, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you also see in the attachment to the power lines overhead interfere with the juniper canopy. Last year I was working with a preschool group, and we would walk the students once a week from the Mahonia Seat to Table farm area all the way back to the Belfry, and we would cross right here. You could see there's the footpath through the field as well,
Right.
where a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
And it is very hard for vehicles to see pedestrians right there. I think for a number of reasons, including the hydrant, including the telephone, or the light, and the junipers as well. So I would always ask my students to step back, together away, and I would be the one to kind of inch closer to the road and get the attention of a car. But there's a lot of things obstructing good visibility from cars in all directions on this path, and it's surprisingly busy. So it's not currently a path. I would hope that people are a little more vigilant, paying attention, looking for pedestrians when there is a actual crosswalk there. But yeah, I think that this could address a number of different things, the removal of those trees.
We've done a few site walks for this project, and going from here, from City Hall down to that intersection, there's a lot of kids using that crossing. And that, as well as it transitioning into a 35-mile-per-hour zone, we're looking into one of those rapid flashing beacons,
Oh, okay. Nice.
just because of the speed and the amount of use it gets.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Does it still get as much use after the changing of the elementary school? I don't drive around that area
I
very
can't
often.
speak to change in pedestrian use,
Yeah.
but still quite a bit. You can see on the western side of the street, in the gravel, between the path and the roadway, the pattern made for foot traffic. It's even kind of wearing away the edge of the asphalt right there. So many people are using it.
Yeah.
There's a popular walkway along there going around the senior citizens in the post office and come back down the other street. I see a lot of people walking their dogs.
Yeah, we thought most people were using it to cross the field to get to the park, but most of them get right on that path, take the path to the south.
I'll go across the field.
Bikes too, a lot of bikes in that area.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any objection to the removal of the 3 junipers.
Is that a power line coming out from that light?
Yeah.
Because,
Power to the light.
Yeah.
what's that?
Power to the light.
Oh, power to the light.
Yeah.
It doesn't continue on.
Okay. Because they're going to trim the tops of those
Yeah.
trees as they grow around near that power line. Unless you're going to remove the light, I don't know.
Looks like the tops have been cut a few times.
Yeah, they've already been trimmed some.
Yeah.
It's like when you drive along Cloverdale there, and all those top junipers along there, they just look
Yeah.
like chopped junipers, They don't look very attractive,
Yeah, CEC does routinely go through and trim up trees that are encroaching on power lines.
Yeah, they don't want to start a fire.
Because they've got to keep it clear or clean,
Yeah.
so.
Does anybody object to the removal of these?
No, I agree, they need to come down.
I move that we approve taking them out, and to make way for the a sidewalk and the movement of the fire plug.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Moving on to other business, city forester updates.
Can you all hear me? So last meeting, I guess I brought up the opportunity to get back to speak with Sarah Lowe, our new OSU extension forester, or not extension forester, urban forestry. So her job is specifically working with the community, trying to provide clear services on their forestry. And I had talked with Casey Jackson a little bit about having her join us for the December, our December meeting. So I don't know if we have much time for it today. It seems like we have a small agenda. If you all have, or want to kind of, based on the evaluation we just did of our forestry management plan, it's kind of good tonight. If there are things that are like hangups for our group or city of sisters where we really need some guidance or we'd like some support figuring something out, I think it's a good opportunity to reach out to Sarah and just make her acquaintance in the future
Yeah.
if we have things like that come up. So she was willing to join us for this. We would prepare ourselves or have questions for us.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any staff updates?
Yes, so the, let's see, the tree at Creekside Campground, that was approved for removal at the last meeting, has been scheduled for removal. Shouldn't say scheduled. The invoice has been approved, so we're gonna be scheduling that soon. The topping of the ponderosa pine near the mailboxes off of Creekside Drive, that one also preparing to schedule that removal. And the third and final one was the topping of the habitat snag over by Country Coffee. So those are getting scheduled for that work to be done in the very near future.
Did we also approve the dead tree that's right as we come into town? Or is that an ODOT tree?
That's an ODOT
Oh,
tree.
okay.
Our arborist has agreed to perform the removal, should ODOT do the traffic control, because some traffic control will be required.
Yeah.
Still trying to work with ODOT on getting, they're really busy right now, with
Yeah.
things going on, so we're working on that one.
Yeah, great.
And then we're starting work on our
Today.
Tree City application. Casey's
Nice, thanks
getting going on
Casey.
that one.
So this is the annual,
The Tree City USA application for the award that we seem to get for the last 20 years.
yeah,
So-
showing that we're doing the bare minimums to be compliant.
Mhm.
One thing that we talked about last time, Avery said there's like some additional things you can do.
There's
to-
that growth award.
Yeah. Are there others, or do they define those better in the application?
So I would have to educate myself a little bit more. The growth award, you can only apply for it after you apply for your Tree City USA. So I need to wade into what that growth award may entail. Avery, you may know off the top of your head. You can
I've
answer
looked
that.
around a little bit. I think some of the things that we've done, like the organic planting, or the forestry management plan, all those things you can get basically some points for.
Mhm.
You get enough points to get a growth award, which I think City of Sisters did get a growth award many years. And based on my experience working with you all last year, I think there's probably enough qualifying events out there that might get us a growth award, which is pretty cool. I think it kind of keeps you motivated beyond just
evaluations submitted, we can come back to you folks with the numbers such as trees planted, removed, pruned, how we're doing on our expenditures to residence ratio. There's a certain, I think it's $2 per capita you have to spend on urban forest management. We're usually well clear of that one.
Nice.
I think last year was like 8.
Yeah, I think that had to do with like a large grant project we had, or maybe that's the year before, but
Our ratio was a little high.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for those updates, and we'll move on to board member comments.
I wanted to share with you guys that I went purposely to the creek, to Whitejuice Creek, to look back at the tree that we, after much pondering, recommended be topped very significantly so that if it did fall, it was leaning a bit and the top was dying, that it wouldn't hurt the neighbor across the creek. So I'm happy to report, and I can pass around my phone, that the tree's looking good. We'll see how it looks in a year or two, but certainly if you were just walking along or at one of those houses there, people don't always think to like look up. So it seems like it's there in its full glory from the ground level. So I'll pass that around. And then I wanted to, I don't know if you guys listen to Oregon Public Radio, but today they had somebody from the city of Eugene on. Eugene is really into their trees, and they're trying to actively plant, I think, 3,000 trees a year. And they have a certain percentage of their city they want covered by canopy, and they're going very religiously neighborhood by neighborhood to see, like, some neighborhoods have less than 10% canopy and some have 60%. And so they're really doing a very proactive, thoughtful project to increase their trees there. So I thought, how fascinating. I want to look into Eugene more.
Are they working with the homeowners to do this, or?
Whoever owns the trees, it sounded like.
Okay.
They didn't specify like we would, like, we are only doing city trees. It sounded like it was all the trees. Because they did make the point, you homeowners can go out and increase the canopy cover by planting something on your own property. Just check with us if you'd like advice as to what and where. So, and then my last comment/question is, when will the roundabout planting begin? And does anyone know why there were flamingos on the roundabout this morning?
I think they're migrating, aren't they?
Yes.
They're the flyway. Yeah. Probably going north. I'm sorry.
aside from a resident having fun, I really don't know. I didn't know there were flamingos there until...
A little trail of them,
Yeah.
like it was very intentional. It took some time. Yeah.
Get on it, man.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know when the planting's gonna start?
So I think that they recently, I heard from my crew, I haven't had a chance to go out and take a look, that they're starting on the dedicated planting zones. They're starting to dig those out. The landscaper who's subbing for the primary was very confident that they'd be able to plant pretty much through the winter, barring the worst of weather conditions. So soon.
Great.
Exact timing, I can't say.
Okay.
I
Thank
know
you.
it's the same contractor that's working on our West Side Pump Station project, so I think they're kind of wrapping that one up and then moving on to the roundabout landscaping.
Thank you. Oh, and I had one last thing. I know there's a flag over by the Dutch Brothers Coffee. Underneath the American flag, there's a Tree City flag flying there, which is very nice. And I'm wondering if the same thing, if there is a flagpole at the new what's it called, the gateway? I think of it as East Portal. Is there a flagpole there? And if so, could we also have a Tree City flag flying there?
There is not a flagpole there at the moment.
Okay, never
There's
mind.
one by the gas station, isn't there, that Boy Scout project?
Right there by the Sisters Motor Inn.
Yeah, coming in.
There's a flag-
There's a flagpole there.
Yeah. Which is across the street from.
Because that was some Boy Scout
Yeah.
did that project and
Is that the location Therese was describing by?
No, she's talking about, aren't you talking about right here by Dutch Brothers?
That's the one I've seen.
Yeah, then there's one in, just west of, Space Age gas station on the south side of the town.
by the motel there. There's
that
that
flagpole.
little,
We do maintain that flagpole. That is Veterans Memorial Park, so we try to.
Oh.
Right,
that to
right,
be a
that's-
flag.
That's right.
And is there a tree flag there?
No.
No, it's for the, yeah, it's for the veterans.
Oh, so no tree flag because it's for veterans? Is that intentional then?
I think it's intentional.
Okay. Thanks.
Certainly can look into opportunities for that. So
I don't want to make work for you. I just thought if there was a flagpole at the East Portal / Gateway site, that would be a cool place to have a Tree City flag, since a lot of out-of-towners will be going through there.
should a flagpole go there, I'll put that
Okay.
on the list.
There you go.
Seems like a reasonable spot to have a flagpole. Don't see a reason why there
why
wouldn't.
is the flag at half-staff right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
That was for the passing of former Vice President Dick Cheney.
Oh.
Okay.
Then I believe that is to remain down for 10 days. I think they go back up on the 13th, if my memory serves correctly.
Thank you. I had a question about, is it the parks, city parks, are they responsible for replanting trees in the parks? And because I know we're looking at taking trees out and removing, this is a hazard and this and that, but are we planting more trees? I know we had diseased trees in the park and we've removed some diseased junipers and, way back when. Are we planting more ponderosas in the village green? Is there a plan to do
We haven't
that?
planted in parks for a couple years. I think the last time was Arbor Day 2 years ago over at Clements Park, where we planted 6 trees.
Okay.
6 kind of good-sized ones.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of trees there, plenty of space and opportunity to plant trees. And certainly kind of keep a list going of where might be a good spot for trees, where there's already irrigation, won't really interfere with anything. Suggestions.
That would be an appropriate space for this group and to complement, or it wouldn't be like a real firm demand, obviously, but just to sort of complement and collaborate with like the parks.
It might be some kind of collaboration between this board and the Parks Board. Maybe the Forestry Board recommending a species and location, then running that past the Parks Board and getting their blessing on that.
So it would be okay for us to initiate an idea like that? I guess that's your question, like, is that our role or is that the Parks Advisory Board role?
I can look into that one further, but that process I just described would be my first assumption on how that would probably work.
Okay.
Just based off of past practice, we've had more energy on picking and giving input on where we would do stuff for Arbor Day than it has been for like giving a recommendation for the city to perform planting trees in the park or whatever.
Right.
So, and then we did the big tree planting out at the field serves me right. It's been a few years. 5-ish years ago, they did a bunch of tree planting out in out in the fields, sewer fields.
Oh, Lazy Sea.
Yeah.
Must have been before my time.
It's before my time.
Yeah, no, that was a long time ago. That was before we even had like a tree registry.
I was looking through photos a couple years back, again, before my time. I think that berm that you see on South Locust by the campground, I think that was an Arbor Day planting, the trees in that area.
Nice.
So maybe that can kind of dovetail into ideas for this upcoming Arbor Day next year's, where we might plant some trees.
Are there any other board comments? Good. I don't
This
have.
would be a good year to snag some of those little ponderosas. There's just thousands of ponderosas on my property that seeded this year. They're growing up everywhere, every crack, they go down the crack. Maybe.
How big are they now? Little babies, that's a good time to get them.
Yeah, that's it. And then, start putting them in pots and do we have trees at the, what do you call it?
Our nursery?
Out there where their water is and.
Yeah, so we maintain a small tree nursery, largely street trees that have good growth habit, should we ever need to replace one in our downtown core. We also have, I forget the number, but quite a few ponderosa seedlings from 2 Arbor Days ago when we planted along Wyches Creek.
The Watershed Council.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing well, so I would assume they're well and naturalized to kind of our climate. That those may be something we can utilize for a future Arbor Day.
In the nurseries, they have those long, skinny tubes. Where can you get those, Avery? Do you know?
I can find out.
Okay,
Ponderosa, Project Ponderosa uses those. They're like,
right, they're about
Yay
12
big
inches or
and-
something.
I don't know, 4 inches square.
Because, a lot of trees, when you put them in little things, they get J roots. And then it stunts them and I don't know. I remember that from planting Christmas trees, And when you plant them, you put them in there and then you pull them up. So the root doesn't go up and then, like I say, it gets stunted. If we could get some of those containers or something and start, growing them and then, I don't know, having them available for Arbor Day, for this kids to go plant or people to, get them and put them on their property, and put more trees, grow more trees, so.
Encourage a more dynamic size and age classes in the urban forest.
I don't know how much those would be, but we could look at that. And like I say, I have all kinds of these little trees all over my yard.
Yeah.
And they're still small, so you can plant them and put them where needed.
Nice.
And provide for the schools or the parks people, if they want to.
Great idea.
Okay, anyway, just an idea.
I don't have anything else to add. So we'll move on to City Council Liaison.
Is there something on the little window?
Yeah, those are just
It should be good.
I emailed all of you this morning. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at it, but it's a link to the planners and the builders for our Gateway Park / mobile hub, and some really good information in there about how they work to preserve as many trees as possible and how they change their
impressive, including, I learned a new word, retaining pine duff. Word for me, everyone probably knows it for sure. And then the raising of the pathways to help with the runoff of the trees and everything. So it's a good read if you get an opportunity to take a look at that post by Kittleson and Associates.
Thank you.
And then I just want to say congratulations on the OTIC application for the Heritage Tree Grove. Exciting to hear how that goes, and looking forward to seeing that happen. I don't see why I wouldn't. So, good work.
Thanks, thank you.
Thanks. Well, with that, nobody has anything else to add. We'll call the meeting at 3:42. Next meeting will be next month on the 8th at 3 o'clock. And I'll be here. I'm not on shift. So, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Pat.
Recording stopped.